Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining me. And today we're going to talk about kombucha and the many reasons that I drink kombucha. And the list keeps growing. The longer I've done this, when did I start drinking kombucha? 2001 or something, or 2002, I think, is when I first started consuming kombucha, and I've been doing it ever since. And it's such an amazing drink. It's a fermented tea, and it's fermented. And what happens is when you make the tea, you just use either black or green tea, and you can use other ones too. Don't recommend using herbal teas because some of them have oils that can kill the SCOBY. But I have a whole list of what kind of teas you can use. But anyway, it's fermented with sugar. But don't freak out because the sugar's not for you. It's for the microbes that turn this into an amazing fermented tart tasting drink, which tells you that the sugars are gone. Kombucha sales are predicted to be at 6.2 billion by 2026. And that was stated by Market Watch. And the amazing thing about kombucha, it has mostly been done by word of mouth. And I have been watching it grow for 20 years. And I've also witnessed that some major soda companies are starting to lose their credibility as they hit a low in their marketing sales, because people are waking up to drinking things that are healthy and not laden with all kinds of unhealthy sweeteners. And that goes for the ones that are made with high fructose corn syrup and the ones that are made with artificial sweeteners. They're really not good for you. And they're causing problems for people, and people are waking up. And kombucha is a great alternative. It gives you the carbonation, but the carbonation is naturally occurring. It's not forced carbonation. And as the sales decline on these soda drinks, kombucha and other healthy alternatives are popping up everywhere. And, there's all kinds of things about kombucha. In different people make them differently. I have a really good article about check out, is kombucha good for you? Because some people were saying, oh, it's not good for you. But I have a lot of information about that, and I will link that in the description below. Now, that being said, I always think you should follow your own guidance. So if you don't feel drawn to this or you don't want to drink it, don't drink it. I want you to gain confidence in your own ability to discern what is best for you. And you'll feel it. You'll know something. You'll be drawn to it. You'll have an impulse towards it. And I'm going to share with you what has worked for me my last 20 some years, and drinking and eating these foods of culture that have probiotics in them. And it has been such a journey of discovery for me. There's not a week that goes by that I don't learn something new about microbes or how they govern the processes in our body. And it has just been such an amazing thing for me because we're mostly bacteria. We are 100 trillion bacteria. More than that, that's more than 10 times the cells in our body. So they do so many things for us, and nobody really knows it. Most of the people just talk about how harmful bacteria can hurt you, but you and I are 99.9% good bacteria, and it's actually keeping us well. Only when it gets out of hand, when you're not, caring for those microbes, feeding them what they need, giving them the nutrients they need to grow and multiply, that things get out of hand. And so kombucha is a wonderful replacement for soda pop. So here are a few reasons that I drink kombucha almost every day. And I have about 10, and I want to tell you about them. So the number one thing I think that kombucha does is it helps you detox from addictive substances. Many, many years ago, 20 years ago, when I was addicted to unhealthy foods and I was drinking a lot of diet pop, kombucha helped me replace that quantity of diet pop and those highly processed foods. Nothing else worked to detox me. I was so addicted to it. I couldn't get off of it. And there's reasons for that. There's some amino acids that are incomplete in certain diet sodas. It depends on which sweetener they use that make you crave it. And I knew that it was harming me, but I had a hard time because I craved it so much. As soon as I started drinking kombucha, everybody in my family got off of those sodas because we really loved it. It also helped us detox from them by helping our liver to detoxify. It assists the liver. Kombucha assists the liver in detoxification. And those healthy foods and drinks became a thing of the past. And then I started to build up the good microbes in my body by drinking kombucha, which in turn made me crave that type of drink and those type of foods. Now, number 2, this is a big one for me. I have not worn deodorant in 15 years, maybe longer. I consistently drink about 16 ounces of kombucha every day. Now, I also drink I also have kefir and other probiotic foods too. But I noticed after a few years of eating these foods on a regular basis that I stopped needing to wear deodorant because I didn't smell bad anymore. And, the reason that you need deodorant is because you've got some odor-causing bacteria that is, trying to get out of your body. And I have enough good bacteria in my body that I don't need it. It's just an amazing thing for me. And some of the deodorants out on the market today have got aluminum sulfates and things in them that are just really bad for you. And there's some good natural ones that, you can use, but I just haven't needed it. And so the only time I ever notice that I have any kind of body odor, and it's very, very mild, is when I have sugar. And if I have any kind of sugar, I will notice that seems to cause the problem. You should check that out, see if that happens to you too. But that's the only time I ever notice it. But it's usually short-lived because I don't eat very much sugar. And I don't have it hardly ever, except maybe on birthdays and things like that. I just don't crave it anymore like I used to. And I have so many recipes that are sugar-free. There's some new sweeteners that I love. I love monk fruit and I love allulose. Allulose is just my new favorite thing ever. And it's actually very, very good for you. And that's what I use in place of sugar. So, sweat naturally is odorless, but when it's combined with bacteria in the body, that's when it begins to smell. And I've had a lot of people tell me that they don't need deodorant. I had one this week. Somebody wrote me and told me they don't need deodorant anymore. And I think all the cultured foods help. I think kombucha helps enormously because it really helps detoxify the body. It assists the liver in detoxification, and your skin is a huge detoxifier. And the interesting thing about kombucha is, though, there's a certain probiotic yeast in it, Saccharomyces boulardii, and it is very powerful in the body. It doesn't last for very long because it's a transient bacteria, so it's good to have it every 2-3 days. But it does help eliminate different types of bacteria in the body that can be harmful, and it binds with it and flushes it out of the body through the skin, through the urine, through the bowels, and through the liver. It works very, very well. Okay, number 3, hormone help. When you have a lot of excess hormones, and it could be perimenopause, it can be premenstrual syndromes, it can be menopause. When those hormones get out of whack, you feel it. You really struggle. And it's your body's sign of letting you know things are a little bit unbalanced. Kombucha is wonderful for helping to eliminate things like excessive estrogen and other hormones that are out of balance. So lots of times, when you get hormonal imbalance, especially if you're going into menopause, you'll heat up and your body's trying to sweat out those excess hormones. That's why you get so hot. Kombucha helps with that. It doesn't completely eliminate it because there's other factors involved, but it does help a lot. And I used to drink it at night a lot. That's sometimes, I change it up. I take that back. Sometimes I do it in the afternoon. I usually do it in the afternoon or evening is when I do it the most. When your body kind of slows down a little bit, and your hormones fluctuate all day. Your cortisol fluctuates, your estrogen, all those different, your blood sugars, all those things they're all working in different amounts all throughout the day to keep you in balance. And sometimes in the afternoon, like around 2:30 or something, and I'm going to talk about that more on this thing, you'll need extra help if your hormones are out of balance or your blood sugars are out of balance. So kombucha can help. It's great. And since it assists the liver in detoxification and the probiotics that are found in kombucha help with elimination in the digestive tract, it is really important component of hormonal health. It really helps a lot. Okay, number 4, kidney health. Okay, when I first started to drink kombucha, this is the very beginning, I noticed I was urinating a lot, and my daughter was doing it too. We were both drinking it. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And that still can happen to this day. If you drink kombucha, it'll start flushing stuff out. And after about a week, it has subsided. This is in the very, very beginning. And I remember feeling so much better after that. And I thought, I wonder what that was. And so then this was the very beginning, 20 years ago. And then a couple years later, I stopped drinking kombucha for 3 months because I read an article online that supposedly somebody who was supposedly in the know who thought it was bad for you. And I think she was trying to sell another product. So it's a long story. But anyway, but in those 3 months that I didn't drink kombucha, my joint pain came back. I started feeling tired and sluggish. And, especially in the evening and late afternoon, I didn't have as much energy. And so I thought, this is ridiculous. My joints are hurting. So I decided that I was going to start drinking it again. And once again, that very first week, I started purging toxins through the kidneys, through the skin. I started to smell. And I remember that was the other thing I wanted to tell you. I should have put this in the last part. When we first started drinking kombucha, my daughter and some people in my family said, Mom, I smell. I can't get rid of the smell. And it was purging all this bacteria from the body. And then it kind of goes away after about a week. But I remember my daughter telling me, and I remember it too in the beginning, that I did have more body odor in the beginning. And it was just getting rid of a lot of things that were in the body. And it does it very well through the kidneys, through the skin. And I started researching it. And kombucha has found that it can repair damage caused by environmental pollutants, such as TCE. And it may be beneficial for people who have renal impairment, who have kidney problems. And it does work. I tell you, it is kind of impressive. And in the beginning, it seems to get a little worse, and then it gets better. So that's my experience, and that's been experiences with many people I've worked with and with my family. And there's I have the link to the reference on this about the renal failure too, not the failure, impairment. So you can read that if you'd like to read that research. Now, number 5, allergies. In the springtime, I up my cultured foods, especially when I had seasonal allergy. Now, this is back when I lived in Kansas City. Every spring, it would be horrible. I was allergic to, mulberry, I think? It was awful. But kombucha really helped with that. So did cultured vegetables, so did kefir, and then slowly over the years they went away. Now I live in a climate where it's like springtime all the time. Stuff is blooming all the time here. So I have this all the time. I have kombucha every day anyway because there's always something in bloom in California. It's going to help, with low energy, detoxification, especially from excess pollen. And ingesting more microbes assists the immune system and helps the adrenals cope with foreign invaders. And a foreign invader pollen is really a foreign invader. And it treats it different. If you're allergic to it, most of the time pollen can come and go in a lot of people. But if your body overreacts to pollen, which is what happens when you have an allergy, your body's overreacting to a substance that's not exactly harmful, but that it doesn't like. So it's having it creates inflammatory markers, all these things. So it's overreacting to something it shouldn't. And so helping your body to handle that and to calm that down is one of the biggest benefits of eating cultured foods. And it really helps with those kinds of, if it's food allergies or seasonal allergies, it's so wonderful. I have articles on both of those and how much it helps. And I'll link that in the description below. Ginger kombucha is one of the most effective during allergy season. Ginger has a lot of components in it that really help to calm down inflammation, especially allergic seasonal allergy reactions. I have a lot of information about ginger kombucha and even doing ginger shots. And this is without kombucha. Take an apple and a 1-inch piece of ginger and juice it and drink it fast. And I can't tell you how much that helps with seasonal allergies. It's called my ginger shot. If you go to my website, culturefoodlife.com, go to the recipe section and hit ginger shot. It is powerful medicine for if you have allergies, and it works instantly. And I've done it many times. It's fabulous. So, okay, number 6, sore throats and cough. If anybody in the house has a sore throat or cough, kombucha is a wonderful way to soothe them and also load the body with probiotics. It seems to clear that junk off the back of the throat, helps clear your sinuses. And one more thing to note, cold drinks can aggravate a cough. So don't drink it cold. Let it, get a little bit room temperature. And if you have a cough, and if you don't, it doesn't seem to bother it. But it's powerful, and it supports your lymphatic system as it removes the pathogens that are causing the sickness, whether it be a virus or any kind of foreign, pathogen that doesn't belong there that's trying to replicate in your body. One of the great things about kombucha, it helps to remove that from the body. So that's awesome. Okay, I talked earlier about joint health. This is number 7. Kombucha is packed with glucosamine, which helps prevent joint damage by the preservation of collagen in the joints. And it does this by increasing the hyaluronic acid, which is really important for lubricating your joints. And when joints are better able to move, the collagen isn't worn down as much. I've heard from several people how much kombucha has helped with joint pain. And it's effective in relieving painful swelling too. So it's a wonderful thing because the components that are in kombucha are actually some of the components, in the body, like I said before. And it really, giving your body what you need, especially as you get older, it's going to really help you. Okay, number 8. One of my favorite things is it has a powerful probiotic yeast in it, which I talked about earlier, called Saccharomyces espiolardii, and it's abundant in kombucha. It's one of the most researched probiotics, and it's a probiotic yeast, and it's been used worldwide to treat gastrointestinal health. They use it in hospitals, and it's resistant to antibiotics, heat, and stomach acids. So it's helped a lot of things like acute diarrhea in children that are in hospitals and adults. It's also helps with C. diff, bowel disorders, AIDS patients, children with autism, inflammatory bowel disease. All of these things has been documented that it's very helpful with. Now, espiolardii is unrelated to the yeast candida. When you have candida proliferating in the body, it will decrease the acidity of your gut, making it susceptible to harmful bacteria and yeast. Espiolardii exerts the exact opposite effect, producing lactic and other acids known to inhibit potentially harmful candida yeast. So what happens with candida yeast? If you don't have enough good bacteria in your body, candida is going to take over because it's going to have space to take over. You kind of want so much good bacteria in your body that the yeast stay in the corner where they belong. You need them actually in your body to help you digest heavy metals and things like that your regular digestive system can't handle. But you need them in some very small amounts, and you don't want them to take over. So for instance, if you take an antibiotic, all of a sudden it kills the good and the bad bacteria, and then candida has all this room to grow and multiply because antibiotics don't kill yeast. So that's one of the secrets to keeping your yeast in control, especially candida, is by having lots of good bacteria and also having good yeast like espiolardii, which will really help you keep it in balance. Okay, number 9. Espiolardii, as I said before, is one of the probiotics they give patients in hospitals to treat acute diarrhea, antibiotic-associated diarrhea, and some parasitic forms of diarrhea and other gastrointestinal disorders. So espiolardii can act as a decoy to harmful pathogens, and it attacks and binds with those pathogens. So the pathogens think that it's a fellow foe, and it keeps them from attaching to the intestinal wall and doing damage. So it attracts them. And many people have expressed how much kombucha has helped them with chronic diarrhea. I actually had a very close friend many years ago that swears by it was the only thing that ever stopped her chronic diarrhea. And it really seems that it's a delicious fermented tea. So it does, it's not a drug. It doesn't have side effects. It's just something to enjoy. I love it, especially in the summertime. It's so good for you. Number 10, afternoon slump. If you feel yourself getting tired around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, then you may either have blood sugar issues or stress hormones, which have been overtaxed by excess cortisol, and your body's struggling. And you really shouldn't have this, but if you do, it's a very common thing. Your immune system's just struggling. So one of the things that can help you is to have 8 to 16 ounces of kombucha. The B vitamins in kombucha help with probiotics. They give your adrenals extra help. And it has this special ability to help cleanse the gastrointestinal system, rid the body of waste, and it's really, really helpful for the immune system. It gives you a big boost, it makes you feel great, and it's incredibly alkalizing and it helps to balance the pH, and that energizes the body. So that's when I like to have it. I just really enjoy it. It's kind of like a treat in the afternoon for me. I go get a glass and I put ice in it, and I have a special glass because I have a thing with glasses, and I pour the kombucha in there. And yesterday I had a peach one that was to die for. It was so good. And I have all the recipes on how to make this. You can also buy kombucha. Here's the deal. My favorite brand is GT Synergy. And the reason being is that he doesn't do anything weird to his kombucha. A lot of the manufacturers now are flash pasteurizing just a little bit to keep it from overflowing on store shelves, and he doesn't do that. So that kills some of the probiotics. So you don't get as many nutrients from it when they do that. And I understand why they do that, but I do like that his is pure. He does not do that, and he has delicious flavor. So that's a good one. Making your own is always better. It's easy to do. I have all the instructions. I'll put all that on there on how to do it. And once you get a SCOBY, it can last your lifetime because it just keeps making you a new SCOBY every week. And you need the starter tea, which we sell them. You can get them different places, but you need the starter tea to really make kombucha. That's the most important factor. And you just add tea it's got the right amount of sugar, and you got to keep the ratios right. So I have the recipe on there. And then you just let it ferment and do its thing. And then, 7 to 10 days, you've got a big pot of kombucha that'll last you. And you can second ferment it and flavor it. There's all different kinds of things you can do with it. It's just a fantastic drink, and it's wonderful for you. I don't know, it's just something I've done so long now that I can't imagine my life without it. And I'm seeing kombucha bars pop up everywhere. We went to a restaurant the other night, and they had kombucha on tap, and they had 3 or 4 different kinds. And they're so good. It's just one of my favorite places where you can go get as much as you want, and it's on tap. I think it's, what's it called? Barrel Republic, I think is what it was. And they serve a really good fermented tea that's actually a local company and that supplies them of it. It's called Living Tea, and they are just fantastic. I love them. I go there often. Whenever we go to the beach, we go there afterwards and get it in the afternoon because it's kind of a pickup after you've been in the sun all day. But anyway, support those places that sell it so that you'll see more and more of those places. And maybe we can start replacing a lot of these soda drinks that we've drank that have just so hard on our bodies with these healthier probiotic versions, fermented teas. There's water kefir, there's kombucha, all of these. There's kvass, there's ginger teas, or ginger, like fermented ginger. They call it ginger beer, but it's really not beer, but it's been made for ginger sodas. They're so much better for you. They're loaded with probiotics. They're so good for you. They have components in them that really help heal and make the body well. So that is my 10 different reasons. And I have a lot more, but I figured that would be too long on a podcast. But anyway, those are some of my most important reasons for drinking kombucha, besides the fact that I love it. I love the taste of it. And it's just one of my favorite things to do. So grab yourself some kombucha or start making your own kombucha, and I can show you how. It's pretty easy, and it's super fun to make, and I've been doing it 20 years, guys. It's crazy. So anyway, have a great week. Get you some kombucha, and especially in the summertime, because kombucha helps with when your body gets too hot. It's very helpful to the liver because the liver can get very stressed in the summertime when you get overheated, which is a great pickup for the summertime. And thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week.